media.
Oh, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. I, of course, am the man whose name is in the title because no one else is around to contest having their name in the title, Mr. Warren Hayes. And I am thrilled to invite you, or to welcome you, actually, to my live stream happening right now on this Thursday, June 25, 2020. My God. The month of June just flew by. It's crazy. I'm like, we're already in the final stretch of June, which is not a bad thing because I kind of feel like April and May. We've been in within April and May for the past 3 years, so it's kind of good. But I'm really glad that you guys are here tonight, June 25. It's this edition of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, and I'm really happy that you are all here this evening. And when I say all of you, well, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who are here live, because the Mr. Warren Hayes Show is recorded live every Thursday night, 9. And 9 is an upside down 6. I get it, but Warren, the dyslexia's kicking in, folks. It's sneaking up on me. Either that or the Alzheimer's, whatever you want. It's coming. It's coming for your boy Warren. But in the meantime, let's enjoy having the company of some gracious folks, such as Kelly Torres. It's starting to become a meme that I always mess up your name. Kelly, good to see you. Tim Travers here as well. Good to see you, Tim. Anakin JMT is here as well. Our pal Throwback. Hey, have you subscribed to Throwback's channel yet? By God, I don't know what you're doing if you ain't. Thomas Gories is here as well. Good to see you. Robert Larry as well. Joe, nice to see you, sir. Very nice to see you here as well. Let's see who else is here. We got oh my goodness. I'm gonna scroll down. Hey, look at that. Ben is in the house here as well. Patrick Mason is joining us as well. Trinity Clark. Oh, we have Kristen Ashley who's here as well. Well, hello there, Kristen. Good to see you. Hawkeye is here as well. How you doing, Hawkeye? Welcome to the show. Am I forgetting anyone? Evan Wright is here. Patrick Davies as well. Nikki. Mark Forbes, not Marcus, but we could call him Marcus if we really put our minds to it, but it wouldn't be correct, wouldn't be his name, but still, good to see you, Mark Forbes. One Fall Podcast, Connor McCabe, Mike Armstrong, Jason PS3, who will need to upgrade his name this year, I think, to Jason PS5. Otherwise, he's just going to come across as a relic of another time. No, Jason, of course, you do whatever you want. But hey guys, thank you all for joining me here this evening live on the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. You too can join live if you come over and subscribe to youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. You subscribe, you hit the bell, and there you go. But I also like to think that I earn your subscriptions. Maybe this is the first time you're watching. Maybe you're a long-time watcher, and and you haven't subscribed yet, or whatever the reason. I like to think that I earn your subscriptions, folks. I know we get tons of notifications. We're overwhelmed with emails and stuff popping up on our phones. I like to think that if you're listening to me right now, I did what I could to get you to subscribe, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on your favorite podcast application, a follow, a subscription, a review, whatever. If I really, really do appreciate it, because to me it shows that that I worked for your precious time, and because you deserve someone who works for your time. Trust me on that. So thank you everyone for being here. I really do appreciate it. You know, once the Mr. Warren Hayes show is done, the festivities continue over on patreon.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. First and foremost, it's a good way to support the show. Second of all, you get access to a bunch of extra content if you enter the Power Pal tier, including, notwithstanding, but most importantly, the Warren's Off the Clock post stream, where we all huddle together in our little bubble and we talk wrestling and other stuff. I mean, it goes just about everywhere. It's good stuff. It really, really is good stuff. Yeah. So you head on over to the Patreon afterwards. Warren's Off the Clock, the post stream for patrons only. It's a good time. Another way to show support for the Mr. Warren Hayes show is to join the Mr. Warren Hayes channel as a member. So if you go to youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, you can become a member right there. You just click the join button, and what happens then? You get a bunch of exclusive emojis that you can use in the live chat. So if you have a tendency to come to the live chat, it's a good way to. It's a good bargain. It's a good deal. You show your support and get a little few emojis that you can use to just get under my skin, because there's a Goldberg one. There's a Goldberg one in there that you can use. Oh, and you also have you have a whole bunch of other stuff, and also. You can also show some support for the Mr. Warren Hayes show by leaving a super chat. And there have been already a bunch of super chats already, which is fantastic. Why don't I'll get to them in a quick second, because I do want to just plug a couple of last things before we go. Belltobells.com, of course. Never forget, belltobells.com, the absolute best place for all your women's wrestling coverage. That's where it happens. BELLTOBELLES. And it is maintained, organized, kept together, upheld, pushed forward by one Kristen Ashley, who also has lovely, lovely t-shirts. Like, hang on, there we go. Just like this one here. You want a lovely t-shirt? Who doesn't want a lovely t-shirt? Look at that. Go get yourself a lovely t-shirt. shop.spreadshirt.com/Kristen-Ashley. Go check that out. Get yourself a t-shirt. Or you can also have a beanie. You could also get a onesie for your child, or a baseball type thing, a sweater, not a jersey, but that kind of stuff. That's fantastic. Plus, Kristen is also starting up a new venture called the Association for Women in Wrestling, the AEW, and it is going to it is an organization, a nonprofit that provides resources, education, professional development, and a network for women who are in wrestling media or who want to be. And I am very, very happy to be on the board of directors there. There's a whole bunch of wonderful people. Keep your eye out for that as well, because that's going to be doing some good stuff. God knows these days, I think it's hard to argue against the idea of having a little more female representation in wrestling media and other different areas of wrestling as well. So it's going to be good stuff. So be sure to follow that. We got a lot of stuff bubbling. Yeah. Let's get to some super chats really, really quick. Evan Wright left us a super chat. Thank you, Evan. Says, much love to everyone. Thanks for all the work you do, Warren. Oh, thank you, Evan. Please go easy on my boy, Yoshi-Hashi. No promises. Say hi to Venus for me. I wish I knew where he was. And justice for DGMC. Is DGMC here tonight? He's very conspicuous by his absence, isn't he? J.K. Schwal left a super chat as well. He says, Hiromu and his hard hat are international treasures that need to be protected at all costs. Also, him peeking from behind the curtain is a great meme. It's a fantastic meme, and I can't wait to talk about that match later. It was fantastic. I loved the look with the hard hat coming out, and what a great match, but I'll be talking about it in a few. Another super chat from Anakin JMT says, moment of silence for Mark Madden, who was slayed repeatedly by Sean today. Hey, Mark Madden, maybe some of you guys just remember him from WCW when he was doing stuff there, but Mark Madden, I remember when he was writing for Bob Ryder's OneWrestling.com site back in the 90s. This is a guy who just did everything he could to get into the business. Sometimes you'll hear more bitter fans talk about wrestling journalists going around saying stuff like, oh, well, this guy, all he wants, he's angling for a job with a promotion, Mark Madden is at the forefront of that kind of stuff because I'll just leave it at that. Mark Madden, for good, king of irrelevancy at this point, pops up once a year just to remind everyone that he's still alive. Anakin JMT left another super chat, said it's 6 on the West Coast, defending my mental breakdown. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Nick Wolf left a super chat. How you doing, Nick? Good to see you. Says, I will take an hour of New Japan Pro Wrestling, please me. I could talk a full hour, but I like to cover a whole bunch of different things. But hey, maybe I'll do a New Japan special at some point very soon because there's a lot of good stuff. Evan Wright left another super chat saying, tell me how good Okada versus Nagata was. It will be my pleasure to tell you how fucking good it was because it was real good stuff. Anakin JMT left another super chat, says, glad to see the chat isn't repeating tonight. Yep, fix that one up nice and clean. Thank you very much for noticing. Anakin says, or I guess he's asking for Kristen, is there a Venus beanie? I don't have nor Kristen have the rights to distribute any Venus related merchandise, but a Venus beanie is pretty funny. It is pretty funny indeed. Throwbacks left a super chat. Thank you very much. Throwback says, Warren found his twin on Twitter today. Holy cow. Yeah. And how? If you guys want to see it, it's on my Twitter. Holy cow is right. It was a little frightening. And our boy Wild Boy left a super chat, says, love you, bro. Love you, Wild Boy. Hope things are doing okay. Hope your mom is doing all right. And Evan Wright left us a super chat. Also, tell me how good Ishii Makabe was. Hey, Tomohiro MVP Ishii strikes again. But, I mean, Makabe is no slouching about himself. Look, are we going to talk wrestling? Is that what we're going to do here? Or are we just going to run through a whole bunch of stuff? No, I mean, I'm okay. We're going to talk about wrestling. Let's actually get right into it and start with the weekly wrestling inspection. What are we starting off with this week, folks? We're going to go back to SmackDown, aren't we? And we're going to start off with some cool beans for the entire opening segment of SmackDown. And I'm going to try and talk about this in a bubble, in and about itself. But the whole thing regarding AJ Styles and Matt Riddle and Daniel Bryan, I thought was fantastic stuff. I really, really thought it was fantastic stuff. Let's all remember. Let's go back. Let's think about it. AJ Styles comes out. He brought the wrestlers. He had the whole locker room come out at ringside, right, to sort of support because he was getting his title, right, his Intercontinental Championship that very night. And he said, it's the only title that's eluded him. Finally, he gets it. Renee Young, stay safe, Renee. We're praying for you. We're keeping you in our thoughts. Renee says that she will present him with the Intercontinental Championship that he won at the end of the tournament. And then AJ Styles says, no, hang on a second, Renee. I want Daniel Bryan to come present it. I want him to put the title arm around my waist. And that's what Daniel Bryan did. I love this segment because it made sense for AJ to be a dick about it and, drag Daniel Bryan in. Daniel Bryan, who's a stand-up guy, loves the business. And he's like, look, I hate AJ Styles as a person, but in this situation here, I got to be the bigger man. And I love it. And, AJ Styles rubs it in, says, congratulate me like a man. It was really, really good. They being AJ and Daniel Bryan, they have this back and forth that they had a couple of weeks ago where it's like, you should defend the title every week. I'm not really willing to give out handouts, so on and so forth. And then Matt Riddle comes out. So his debut rings in. and he has a microphone and he says, AJ, I heard you're the face that runs the place. Well, I'm the bro who runs the show. And they have a match, a non-title match straight off the bat. And it was good. It was a good match. It was a good way to get Matt Riddle into the Friday night viewers mindset. Styles actually goes right after Riddle. Riddle hits a German suplex. He goes for his gut wrench suplexes. Big sidekick, a Broton. Then at some point, Riddle gets shoved into Corbin on the outside. They exchange some words. So, they're probably angling towards Baron Corbin versus Matt Riddle as an initial feud, which is... Anyway, Riddle mounts a comeback despite AJ Styles working on his knee for a while. The calf crusher gets locked in, but Matt Riddle reaches the ropes and he finishes the match with his Gotch-style slam. And then the ring fills up with all the people who were outside and come to celebrate with Matt Riddle. And I thought that was a little weird. That took me back to when Lex Luger won, I think it was against... Yokozuna, defeated him by disqualification, and everyone sort of jumped into the ring and celebrated with him. And I was like, it's kind of like that. It's like, why is everyone jumping in to celebrate? He didn't win the title. It was a little weird. I get what they wanted to do. They wanted to get the locker room to put Riddle over. I get it. It looked a little weird. So, but overall, I thought it was a good segment, a good way to introduce Riddle. We'll see how things develop as far as Matt Riddle's situation goes. Hopefully we can get some kind of resolution on his part, on a lot of parts actually, but we'll see how it goes. Evan Wright left a super chat. Thank you again, Evan. Says Kofi and his AJ impression gets cool beans. Absolutely. Kofi was spot on with the elbows and everything. It was real good. I really liked it. Throwback left us a super chat. Thank you very much, Throwback. He says, do you think that Riddle versus Bryan versus Styles out headline SummerSlam or Extreme Rules? Should be interesting to see to see the story they lay out for it. That's a very good question. Extreme Rules or SummerSlam? I don't think they're going to go the route of a triple threat. And quite frankly, I think they are going to move into a feud with Baron Corbin first. I think that's what they're going to do with Matt Riddle. Have Riddle come in, get a big win over a big established star like AJ Styles, and then transition him into this feud with Baron Corbin, which I assume we would probably get for Extreme Rules. That's what I do. And then you build your Riddle up a bit over the top heel in the business, and then move on to SummerSlam where you'd have AJ versus Riddle. I don't think Daniel Bryan is going to be involved in this. I think Daniel Bryan is taking some paternity leave, and if there is any indication as to what's been happening over the past few in WWE, I don't think Daniel Bryan is going to be showing up at the Performance Center anytime soon. I think he's the kind of guy who'll be like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm staying at home. So there we go. Let's move on from some cool beans then and dive right into some very, very hot trash very, very quickly. Boy, oh boy, am I glad that they recapped that Jeff Hardy Sheamus storyline, because that's some compelling shit that you just want to make sure that you take a good 5 to 6 minutes out of your viewership's time to make sure that everyone understands that this is just a horrible angle that we'd all rather forget. So, yeah, it's fantastic that instead of just letting it die and having both wrestlers move on, that you double down on it instead. And instead of just letting it die, you just literally double down on it and say that Sheamus is going to hold a toast to Jeff Hardy next week. And You continue establishing the fact that he's an alcoholic and a junkie. At this point, folks, it's just exploitive. It's just exploitive, and I hate it. It's not even interesting anymore. It's not even fun. It's not even good heat. And I still maintain that there is no reason to get involved in this feud. I don't think that anything that Sheamus does to Jeff Hardy makes the whole thing extra compelling or more interesting. I think it's just stupid, absolutely stupid, and a waste of time. Daniel Price, good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Next, let's move back to some cool beans. I want to talk about Sonya Deville for a second. Just a quick second. With the segment that she had with Mandy and Miz and Morrison on SmackDown, let's just get something out of the way. First of all, Mandy goes to Miz TV, right? That's the thing. Mandy goes to Miz TV and she says, hey, I don't know what her problem is with me. I thought we were done. Why are we still fighting? Kind of thing. But hey, here's the thing. Hang on. Last week, not last Friday, but the Friday before that, Mandy Rose, you popped up on the Titantron and you called out Sonya Deville. You cost her a match because you called her a failure, Mandy Rose. So don't come out here going, I don't know what happened. I don't know why she's still after me. You went after her. And so what does Sonya do? What does Sonya do to retaliate against what you did? She comes out in a goddamn black on black 3-piece suit looking like $1,000 million. Looking like she owns the whole promotion. That's what she does. She comes out to remind you, Mandy Rose, that Sonya Deville is the queen, the real queen of WWE. And my God, she comes to the ring. She cuts another extraordinary promo. Absolutely extraordinary promo. Where Sonya says she's not just angry. She wants to know how to get the Mandy Rose treatment. How do I get all the special opportunities and stuff and whatnot? And that's fantastic. And as I was sitting there and I was listening to SmackDown with Kristen, and we were sitting there and we were looking at Sonya and Miz and Morrison behind her, and we were like, my God, look at those three together. That would be such a great little stable right there, a little trio, with Sonya being the bad bitch boss of those two other fools. Like, let's continue to have Miz and Morrison be the jokers, the corny fun guys, but having Sonya up there with the both of them as their de facto leader, that would be so good. With Sonya going full on Patrick Bateman, full on American Psycho, focusing on the smallest details of everything, to compliment, being very surface on everything, but then always being carrying this deep darkness within her. It would be fantastic. Look, the point here is that Sonya Deville is special. She's special. We've known for a while she's special, but since they've started giving her a platform, a microphone, she has doubled down on how special she is. My God. I can't get enough of Sonya Deville these days. And Charlotte is gone for at least they're expected till 2021. Hey, there's someone you could push. There's someone you could create and make sure that she grows, becomes protected, and then when Charlotte comes back, we'd get a match that we'd actually be really excited to see. Just saying. Anakin JMT left us a super chat. Thank you, Anakin. Says, petition to just put Sheamus back with Cesaro. Right. But he's with Shinsuke now. He's moved on. The throwback says, Hardy and Sheamus are a really good piss. Ha! It's redundant making light on Hardy's demons. Yeah, yes it is. And it's redundant, and I'm afraid of his legacy. How this is, like, his legacy is already tainted by the bullshit that he's done. If you keep just bringing this back and using it as storyline fodder for storylines which really aren't good, it's not helping anyone, really. Evan Wright leaves a super chat again. Thank you, Evan. Extreme Rules, the horror show. Yeah, that's the tagline that they're going for with Extreme Rules. The horror show. Could it be any more on the nose? My God, WWE. My God. Also, gotta love Big Show on my TV over Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler. P segments instead of tag teams getting built. Yeah, I'm going to talk about, why don't I talk about it right now? Because it's very, very simple. I mean, I'm going to pop off the cool beans and put on the hot trash here. DGMC, good to see you, by the way. How you doing? The hot trash, look, no one in 2020 asked for a Big Show Randy Orton feud. No one. I understand what they're trying to do. I really do. I understand what they're trying to do. Still going for the Legend Killer stuff. They, so eventually, or very quickly anyway, Randy Orton is gonna punt Big Show in the head, but nobody wants that. Nobody wants this match. I don't know why. I mean, like, honestly, chat, if you wanted this match, press F in chat. I mean, I have to get some kind of backlog here, some kind of opinion. Jesus. And like Evan said in his super chat, we're not putting more women on Raw. We're not trying to build Shayna Baszler. We're not trying to build Bianca Belair. We're not trying to put on a tag team division. Thomas, you're a liar. Stop. We're not doing any of that. We're bringing Big Show back, who, honestly, respect for the man's career, but it's over. It really, really, really is over for him. This is the moment that they need to be building some new stars, especially some new women. It just boggles my mind, folks. I don't understand. So instead of spending too much time on that, hey, you know what? Instead, we're going to go back to some cool beans. And the cool beans we're going to talk about is the Street Profits versus Viking Raiders match that they had on Raw. Hey, you know what? I'm going to tell, look, I did not like at all. I hated everything that had to do with the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits doing their everything you can do. I can do better stunts. I thought it was stupid. It doesn't make sense that they're trying to compete outside of wrestling to see who's better when the wrestling ring is supposed to be where you're supposed. Anyway. And then their cinematic match at what was the last pay-per-view? They just have Money in the Bank and the last backlash. And that sucked. But if it all led to the match that they had on Monday, well, that wasn't so bad. It was a good payoff. I think the match could have been longer. I think it could have been a lot more interesting. Two talented, creative teams like those four guys could have put on something really special, but it was really good. So for that, I'm really happy. I think that Eric catching a Montez Ford tope con hilo was a huge, huge deal. Because Montez Ford flies. He don't give a shit. And the fact that Eric was just under there waiting for him and caught him on his shoulders. Cordon bleu, guys. That was good stuff. I'm surprised they didn't save this payoff for the pay-per-view, for Extreme Rules. I really don't. I don't know why this was blown off so quickly And now we're moving into Andrade versus the Street Profits versus LIJ Central Florida, excuse me. I think it's good. I think it's I think their match was good. But, you know, if I never see the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders again doing shenanigans, it'll be too soon. And, you know, and I put this out on Twitter, and Chad, I'd like to know your opinion. I'd like to know your opinion on this. This is, with all the content that they created for this, the zany situations, and now they had the match, and all the poses, you know, with all four guys lifting their fists together. You know, the Viking Prophets or the Street Raiders, the Viking Prophet, I don't remember. You know that in 15 years from now, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. In 15 years from now, WWE is going to start rolling back to this angle here at some point and trying to convince us at how great it was, right? How fantastic this was. Remember when this fantastic angle happened? Oh, it was so many great, memorable moments, when in reality, it was not. Just want to say. Anakin JMT left a super chat. Thank you, Anakin. Says, I'm in for Orton Big Show because Orton is compelling right now, which he wasn't a year ago. Absolutely. And it's crazy how... and it's crazy how they're able to do this with Randy Orton, because I remember we were saying the exact same thing before he got into his feud with Jeff Hardy, where he started twisting his earlobes. Remember that? We were like, my God, Randy Orton is so good again. Because he had but his last big thing was his feud with Jinder Mahal. Former WWE champion Jinder Mahal. And then he came back into this angle with Hardy, and everyone was excited for him again. Then he gets cooled off again. Then he gets this fantastic angle once again. I'm okay with what they're doing. I just don't want to see Big Show and Randy Orton in 2020 fighting. I don't want to see Big Show in a wrestling context in 2020. God bless his career. That's not the point. I don't see what they can pull out of this. I really, really don't. Evan Wright left us another super chat, says CV19IJ. Wow. That's Yep. That's it. That's a stretch right there. But I appreciate the effort. We're going to continue with some more cool beans. Charlotte versus Asuka, folks, and everything that surrounds it. This was another solid match. I preferred the one they had. Was it on June 8th? A couple of weeks ago? That match ruled. This, again, was really good. Don't get me wrong. I like it when we have people feuding, wrestlers feuding with each other, and we sort of level out from, like, what was the best match, and it was good, but it wasn't as good as. That's always a good sign. This was a good match. Not as good as their June 8th match, but it was really good. I love how Asuka was trying to lock in an armbar at some point, and Charlotte was blocking it, and Asuka was like, all right then, I'll just go for the other one. I thought that was really, really good. And she has Charlotte Flair tap. I love this match. I love when these two fight. They have great chemistry. They make they're able to work some magic. I love it. Asuka gets a win finally on Charlotte, so that was a big deal. Now, of course, Charlotte lost because before the match, Charisma Vacuum and locker room leader Nia Jax confronted her and attacked her, wearing down her arm, which Asuka was able to use to her advantage during the match. Now, this was all leading in to set up, it served two things, of course, to protect Charlotte on one end, and then to make sure that Charlotte is out for the year. Give us a storyline, an angle to take Charlotte out for the next year or so. So folks, everyone out there who's been hoping that this was all too much Charlotte Flair, oh no, she's going down, wiping everyone, getting all the opportunities. We see her all the time. I'm so sick of her. I hope You all realize now that Nia Jax is your babyface. WWE, listen to you folks. You know what? You're right, Charlotte Flair haters. Let's take her out for a year and let's have Nia Jax. Take a Nia Jax, safe worker, locker room leader, void of personality. You know, I like to say, Nia, you know, furrowing your brow and furrowing your brow deeper aren't two emotions. It's essentially the same thing. And this all goes around, it all brings around to the fact that at this point, WWE has no choice but to build new women, right? They have to at this point. You don't have Charlotte Flair there anymore. So what are they going to do? Becky's gone too. They have Asuka on Raw, but when you look at the field now, there are no more really strong protected women outside of Nia Jax, because of course you have to protect Nia Jax. That's weird. But now they have to lean into building more women. They have to give Liv Morgan a legitimate shot here. Now they're teasing that she's going to go back to Ruby Riott. Boy, that split, sure, that was a good idea to split them up. Split the Riott Squad up. That's such a good idea. Goddamn, got rid of Sarah Logan too. Wow, that was all such good work on everyone's part. Great foresight here, bringing the Riott Squad back together. And Bianca, get her off of main event. Put her back in the main event on Raw, where she belongs. What the hell are you doing with Shayna Baszler? She is one of the most credible fighters they have, and they're not doing anything with her. Bianca and Shayna have been off of Raw, off of television for about a month now, and that just boggles my mind. Again, this is another situation where I'm just like, I don't get how WWE messes this shit up. They mess up sure things. And they're doing it again. They are doing it again, and they're not listening to their fan base. They're not listening to the organic fans that both of these women have, and that are crying out to just put them on television. It's crazy. It really, really is. Anakin left a super chat, says, if Orton retires Big Show to further his legend killer gimmick, I'm okay with it. Otherwise, it is a waste. Like I said, yes, I get, and I completely agree. And that the thing is that's what's going to happen. He's going to effectively murder Big Show, right? That's the thing. I just don't want to see them fight. And that's what we're angling towards. I don't care. If it would have been a one-off like Orton did with Christian, where Big Show lumbers down to the ring and says, Randy, I remember when you and I used to run the roads together. We came up 20 years ago, and I remember, and you got to stop, and then Randy Orton says, sorry, Show, you got involved in my shit. Bam! RKO's him. Bam! Punt across the head, and we're done. I wouldn't even be talking about this right now. I just don't want them to fight. I don't want a feud. It's dumb. Especially when we got women to create. We've got stars to build and make. Evan Wright continues with another super chat. Thank you very much. I'll never understand why Natalya, Nia Jax, and Lana are getting more time than Bianca, Shayna, Liv Morgan, and Kairi Sane. How have I forgotten dear, sweet, murderous Kairi Sane? It is mind-blowing, Evan. The thing here, and I will stick up for Natalya. I will stick up for Natalya as long as I can, because Natalya has been doing this for many, many years. She is as solid a ring general that you can find. She may not have the greatest mic skills. She may not have explosive charisma. And WWE has fucked up her booking for so many years, for so long, a la Apollo Crews, that it's hard for anyone to get behind her. because it's Natalya again. But Natalya puts on good matches. I would argue that Natalya got the best Becky Lynch match out of Becky Lynch outside of Becky Lynch wrestling Charlotte last year. I would definitely argue that. No, hang on. I'm going to nuance that. The Hell in a Cell with Sasha was fucking amazing. Okay, let me twist that around. Natalya was the only non-four horsewoman to get a really good match out of Becky Lynch last year. And I love Becky. Becky's a great wrestler. I think she needs an appropriate dance partner. I think she needs people who can work with her as opposed to her being able to elevate people. I don't think she's that type of wrestler. We've seen it with, it was especially glaring with Lacey Evans. Lacey wasn't ready. It was a very unjust position to put Lacey in. And Becky couldn't guide her to a good match. She was too green. But Becky and Natalya together at SummerSlam last year, if you do remember, it was really good. Peter Davies left us a super chat as well. It hasn't popped up on screen, but I see it here. Peter says, there it is. Should do more with Kairi Sane. Have Asuka turn on Kairi, saying she doesn't need her anymore, brutally attacks her, then Kairi fights from underneath. Sure, not a bad idea. If you want, right now Asuka's a babyface, and I think it works okay as long as she doesn't go full on stupid babyface syndrome. That's fine. Excuse me, Kairi, just give her something to do. Just do something with her. Send her back to NXT. Let's have our Sky Pirates. Let's do it. And there's no point in keeping her around if you're not going to do anything with her. And don't send her to SmackDown, because SmackDown has problems on their own. They don't need more women. Not right now. Man, I am going over on time. We are going to have a nice, long, extended weekly wrestling inspection tonight. Hey, if you want to talk more wrestling, come on over at patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes after the show. Let's go for some cool beans, though. I want to, there we go. Some more cool beans, though. Dolph and Drew, just really quickly. I just want to drop some thoughts. And Chana, of course, I'm curious to know what you think about it. Dale Campbell, excuse me. It could also be Daniel, but it's mostly Dale. Thank you for joining the Mr. Warren Hayes Show chat tonight. Dolph versus Drew. I feel, okay, first and foremost, trading Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode for AJ Styles. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am very happy that WWE is explaining this. Is just saying, you know what? We traded AJ Styles. This is what we got. Cool. But that is the most uneven fucking trade. AJ Styles for Roode and Ziggler. Oofta. Not sure. Anyway, listen. The point here being, Dolph is on Raw now, and they're angling to have Drew and Dolph fight for the WWE Championship. And I'm cool with that. And I'll tell you why I'm cool with that. Drew is the most fed champion that WWE has had in a while. You'd probably have to think back to Brock, when every pay-per-view there'd be another contender comes up and Brock would just smush him. They're doing this with Drew right now. Everyone that they're presenting, that they're putting up as a challenger, is just like, Drew is like, I'm going to run through you. And that's what it is. We don't buy Dolph as a legitimate contender for Drew's title because Dolph has been squandered. Again, it's all the booking that's played against him. Playing Baron Corbin's lackey is going to be something that's going to take a while to shake off. I think he did a fantastic job. There's a certain rehabilitation that happened within the Otis angle where I thought he did fantastic work. But at this point, all I can say is good for Drew, because Dolph and Drew clearly are pals. They get along with each other. And Dolph is going to bump his ass off to make Drew look like $1,000 million. They, being WWE, are putting so much faith in Drew McIntyre and this push. Drew is getting a monster push, you guys. It's crazy at this point. His gimmick, his in-ring gimmick, is eating big moves and kicking out at one. That's his gimmick. That's huge. That is a big, big deal. Feeding him Dolph is a good idea. He's a very well-fed champion. I think it makes sense to me. And it'll probably turn out to be a good match. Drew hasn't had a sloppy match since winning the title from Brock Lesnar, which was a weird match. But since then, Drew has had fantastic defenses up and down. Maybe the one against Big Show, maybe not being that great. But outside of that, just great, great stuff. Let's get some hot trash going here for a second. And a sip of water. It's important to stay hydrated these days, folks. We have a super chat. Anakin, thank you again. Why were Ziggler and Drew acting like buddies after they feuded? After their feud ended in a cage match? That's true. I mean, they did not have a nice split from Raw 18 months ago when they had their little team going, and then the Baron Corbin stuff. You're right. Time heals all wounds. But, maybe Dolph, he has this in the back of his mind, and he's going to come back. He's going to be like, I'm just going to pretend his friend, and then I will sink my teeth into him. Anyway, stay hydrated, folks. Have you noticed, it's starting to really... Have you noticed that NXT is starting to be booked a lot more like the main roster shows? And I found last night to be a particularly glaring episode, particularly glaring of this. The whole Damian Priest being attacked from behind and then having to fight from underneath as a babyface against the villainous heel. It's a very main roster thing. The Undisputed Era therapy skits, as entertaining as they are, it's very main roster ha-has. It's better done. It's better because the guys performing them are very good and they're using the material appropriately. But it's still this sketch comedy stuff that main roster really, really, really likes. And then it's sort of topped off with this match that was made with Rhea Ripley next week in a 2-on-1 match, a handicap match. Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah and Robert Stone. And if Rhea loses the match, if she loses the match, she has to join Robert Stone Enterprises. Now, if that isn't the absolute most main roster gimmick, I don't know what is. And this isn't NXT for me. NXT is where you have guys and gals just wanting to fight, just wanting to pick, that don't need elaborate reasons, that don't need over characterization. They literally tell their stories in the ring. There were no shenanigans like this when Finn Balor and Samoa Joe were around, or Sammy or Kevin, or, Sammy or Kevin didn't go to therapy to try and fix their issues. They just beat the shit out of each other. Shinsuke Nakamura didn't have, all the artists known as and all this junk. No, it was goddamn King of Strong style Shinsuke Nakamura coming in. And then the undercards were fantastic. The tag teams were tag teams that just wanted to beat each other up. That's all what it was about. Now, is this an effect of not having an audience where Full Sail, admittedly, plays a huge part as a character in and about itself, plays a huge part in the presentation of an NXT show. Full Sail plays a huge part. So maybe because there's no audience there to support and really help get across what you should be liking or not, WWE feels it has to fall back on smokes and mirrors. It needs to fall back on smoke and mirrors to sort of get their point across and make sure that you care about these people. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle, they fought because they just wanted to beat the shit out of each other in the fight pit, and I didn't need an elaborate story to get there. It was just like, let's do it. Let's fight. And that was that. Rhea Ripley got over when she entered NXT a little over a year ago now, just by walking up to Shayna Baszler, who, again, wasn't the center of any shenanigans or weird angles. She was just the badass, the final boss. And Rhea Ripley walked up to her nose to nose and was like, I'm ready to tear your face off. And we bought into it. That's what got us into Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley fighting Aaliyah and Robert Stone and maybe ending up with the Robert Stone thing. That's not going to help us get behind Rhea Ripley. It's like we're losing the essence of what NXT is. And maybe finally it is happening that NXT will be a true third WWE brand and will lose all of its flavor. We'll lose what made it special. We're going to look back at Gargano Ciampa being some of the last great hurrahs that the brand had, because moving forward, there's more and more of this nonsense, more and more of more extraneous stuff that we don't need to appreciate these wrestlers. NXT usually has always been perceived as the WWE fans' brand if they just want to see men and women wrestle. They just want to see people have fantastic wrestling matches. It's becoming less and less that, and it kind of bugs me. And I hope I'm wrong. And I really, really hope that my theory that this is a response to the empty arena situation where I'm like, cool. And that once people start coming back, we revert back to a formula that we cherish and that we like a lot better. But then again, I don't think we're going to be seeing people in arenas for a while in WWE anyway. So we might be stuck with this kind of booking for a while. Evan Wright left a couple of super chats, says, thank you again, by the way. Thank you so much, Evan. Says, Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah and Robert Stone is so Vince. Absolutely, Vince. 100%. And he also says, Rhea is as cold as my freezer right now. Sad. It takes talent to mess up sure things. It's not even a mistake anymore. It's not even like, whoops, we fumbled this one. Whoops, we didn't read the room right. At this point, I'm not saying that it is intentional, but messing up so many sure things, being so oblivious to what your fans are saying and how they're reacting and the reasons why your fans react the way they do, being so completely detached from that, it requires talent. It's not just an accidental thing. It's not stupidity. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the amount of times that WWE has gold in their hands. That the audience is like, yeah, let's do this. And they completely misread why people are into them. I'll always go back to Bayley as my go-to example. We can talk about Braun Strowman. We can talk about Rhea Ripley. We can talk about contemporary Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler. I'll throw Naomi into it. We can go back to Zack Ryder if we want. WWE history is full of these kinds of things. Daniel Phillyful, welcome to the chat. Good to see you. All right, let's keep going here with some. Are we doing some cool beans? Yeah, we're gonna do some cool beans. We're gonna talk about AEW Dynamite just a little bit. FTR versus SCU last night was fantastic. That was so good. It was supposed to be FTR versus the Natural Nightmares, right? But QT Marshall says that decided to quarantine himself because he had been in contact with someone who had been in contact with someone who had exhibited COVID symptoms. So he decided to recluse himself, not show up, and they flipped this run around. I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, this was a good outcome because this match ruled. SCU were fantastic. And FTR were as well. This was a real good match. Cash worked over Kazarian's arm, and everything then after that started boiling down into a fight. Dax and Kazarian double suplex each other off the top rope to the floor. And then later on in the match, Dax hit some great snap suplexes. He does a slingshot suplex, and after doing so, lifts the four fingers of the four horsemen in respect of Tully Blanchard, excuse me. Kazarian then takes Cash's head off with a fucking great lariat. I love the backstabber. There was a great sequence here where SCU are working on Cash. Kazarian hits a backstabber on Cash, who bounces up and gets kicked by Daniels, and then Cash backs up right into an unprettier by Kazarian. I thought that was great. The FTR spot where they do a superplex followed by a splash was countered by SCU. They had that one scouted. I thought it was great. But the Goodnight Express puts Daniels away. FTR gets the win. I thought this was great. You know what I think is not as great? That 8-man tag that they set up for Fyter Fest. The Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks and FTR on the same team. That I'm not a fan of that. That's prime WWE booking right here. Coming from the promotion who said that they're going to do things differently. They're going to change the world. You're not going to get the same old, blah, 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 blah. And we get, hey, let's put the two teams who hate each other in one same team. How will they ever be able to coexist? It is basic WWE booking right there. I'm not for it, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Evan Wright left a super chat, says Britt Baker equals hottest wrestling female act in wrestling, in my opinion. It's hard to disagree. She's so good at what she does. Her character is that strong that she can be injured, still stay on TV, continue being amazing. I mean, it's good stuff. Cyclops is better than Wolverine. Thank you. That's not a statement. It's someone's username. Cyclops is better than Wolverine. Welcome to the chat. Also, Goodfella. Good to see you. And Mr. Frats. Good to see everyone popping in. So we'll see what happens, but I don't like this. Yeah, there's more AEW stuff, but you know what? I'm going to save it for the post stream because I'm just going over on time. Be sure to come and join us, the post stream for patrons only, patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes. Let's talk about the New Japan Cup. God, I love me some New Japan. I am so happy that New Japan is back. We had 3 nights of the New Japan Cup settled tonight. The first rounds, the first round of all the regions is done. We're complete. Dunzo. It's in the can. We've already started round 2, which is exciting stuff, but we're going to go night by night. We're going to start by night 3, which was the Tanahashi region. Got some, it was a good night. It was a good night, and it's for one specific reason, but we had Sonata defeating Taguchi on this one. I liked it. Shout out to the New Japan folks in there. And if you're not into New Japan, my God, I strongly suggest you do. And, feel free to take my suggestions into consideration if you want to start some New Japan viewership, because it really is the best pro wrestling out there. It really, really is. So, Sonata defeated Taguchi. I thought this was a good match. I thought I thought the second half of the match was really, really good because Taguchi really turned it up. Over the past few years, Taguchi has been perceived more as a comedy act, which is kind of a shame because he was one of the cornerstones of the light heavyweight division a few years ago. So yes, he's getting older. He's not as nimble, can't do all the insane stuff that he used to do, but the guy still has significance. He had some outstanding matches with Liger. So to see him in good form, doing some great stuff with Sonata on night 3, I was thrilled. It was a good match. It was a good match. Sonata moves forward, as I predicted. Then we had Kota Ibushi defeating Zack Sabre Jr. Again, these two guys together put on magic every time. Probably not as great as some of their previous encounters. Definitely not as good as their past New Japan Cup matches, which is, they have a tendency to run into each other every tournament, and they're always really, really good matches. But again, this is the kind of situation where I tell you, Zack Sabre Jr. Kota Ibushi match isn't as good as their other matches. It's still a good match. Don't get me wrong. You can look at this match and like, wow, this Zack Sabre Jr. guy is crazy. How does he twist people's bodies like that? How does he twist his own body into that? It's absolutely fantastic. Again, a good match, but when you know what these two are capable of together, maybe didn't live up to expectations. Still a good match. Kota Ibushi won, again, as I predicted. But then the spoilers began, to my predictions anyway. Taichi, perennial mid-carder, and loafer, Taichi defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi. What the fuck, man? What? I don't understand this. But here's the thing. The thing with Taichi is that at some point, if he decides to put some effort into something, he does a good job at it. And the final third of this match was good shit. It was really good. I'm just stunned that this is your perennial mid-carder. He's over 40. He's never done anything in his career outside of the Never title. Why would you decide to start putting your faith into him at this point when he's his level of motivation fluctuates like this. And at one point you're like, oh, Taichi's really good. And then the next match is like, wow, what happened? He stinks. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand this. But again, a fine match. Nothing wrong with it. But Jesus Christ. So Taichi going over, that was a surprise to me because I had Tanahashi going over. Jesus Christ here. My God. Sho defeated Shingo Takagi, excuse me. I can't pronounce his last name for the life of me on the first shot. This match was a slapper and also a shocker. Sho beat Takagi. I can't, and Sho himself couldn't believe it. Sho he does his straight jacket pile driver and he does his shock arrow finisher and he hits it and he's in the ring there and he's like, oh my God, I hit it. I should pin the guy. And he got him. For reference, Shingo and Sho had a baller of a match at the Best of the Super Juniors last year. Like one where people were like, feed this, give us more of this. So when they were announced as a first round match, everyone got super excited. This was one of the marquee matches of the first round of the New Japan Cup this year. And by God, it delivered. I like this match more than Suzuki versus Nagata from was it night 1 or night 2? I don't remember. And that was outstanding. That was such good stuff. And now these guys just turned up. They have such great chemistry together. They work so well together. I am looking forward to more Sho and Shingo. They should, at this point, they should have Sho and Shingo for the Never title. That's what should happen. I just want more of these guys. Every time they're in the ring, it's outstanding. So night 3 has a must-see watch. A must-see match. A must-watch match. Shingo versus Shingo Takagi. By God, it was good stuff. Evan Wright says, probably getting Taichi, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tana Ibushi for the tag titles. I agree. I think that's where they're going. Absolutely. 100% agree with you. Also, Okada Ishimori and Ishii Himuru hose me down. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're going to be talking about Night 4. Whoo! Night 4. Glad that one's over. It was, when you saw the regions, this was the Goto region, I think. Anyway, or the evil one. And this was the one that everyone like, wow, this is the night that's gonna stink. And it was the night that stunk the place up. Bushi defeated Yo. It's fine. It was a good match. It was fine. Hiroki Goto defeated Yujiro Takahashi. It's fine. It's fine as well. Goto put on the better show amongst everyone that night because Goto is very he's reliable. He's solid, consistent all the time. So Goto got the win, was fine. Evil defeated Satoshi Kojima. It was fine. I'm going to tell you guys, little surprised that we didn't get more out of Kojima, especially with Nagata getting such a good performance in this New Japan Cup. Togi Makabe as well, that I'm going to talk about in a short while. I'm surprised that we didn't get more out of Kojima, who is he's a legend. He's a 2-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion in his own right, and you know he's also known for being in one of New Japan's most famous tag teams, most legendary tag teams. If you want to talk about New Japan tag teams as having an actual division, or anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But with Hiroyoshi Tenzan, you know, they have their own tag team. I'm just surprised that we didn't get more out of Kojima, because I felt like he could still go when they had their opening 8-man tag match a couple of nights ago. I was like, wow, okay, we could actually get something good out of Kojima I feel like he could still go. Maybe Evil wasn't the guy to get it out of him. I don't know. This match was fine, but it was just. And then we had Yoshihashi defeating Hiroyoshi Tenzan. Now, I'm not surprised because there's no way Tenzan was going forward. Tenzan is not up to shape. But by God, man, Yoshihashi going forward is something in and about itself. This match, it blew. I didn't like it. It stunk. It wasn't as bad as Yano versus Jado. That was the pits. Yeah. But this was not good. This was not good. And Yoshihashi, my God, beat poor Hiroyoshi Tenzan with the motherfucking butterfly lock. Poor Tenzan. It breaks my heart that he had to put over the stupidest finisher. I hope Yoshi hyphen Hashi. I hope you're listening right now. Hope you figured out how to spell happy birthday between the last time we spoke with each other. Yoshihashi, listen to me. You are going to put together a thank you gift basket for Tenzan, and you are going to send him that for Christmas this year and every subsequent year because he had to tap out to that shit finisher you have. By God. Anyway, Yoshihashi goes forward. We got a couple of super chats from Evan again. Evan Wright says, Kojima, Nagata, and Tenzan, Nakanishi included, are prime examples of aging like fine wine. I disagree with Nakanishi and Tenzan, but I'm right with you with Kojima and Nagata. Get Liger and Tiger in there too, honestly. The dads kill it. Tiger, look, honestly, this was a tournament where the New Japan dads, a lot of them looked really good. I thought Nagata shined. I thought Makabe had a real good one as well. Kojima, I'm surprised. Kojima, I was sure that we were going to get something more out of him at this point. Tenzan is what it is. I just think he's broken down and he can't go anymore. Kind of like, not as bad as Jado. Jado that was painful to watch. Tiger Mask. I mean, Tiger Mask can still wrestle something good out of himself. To me, there were a lot of surprises as far as the older members of the roster went, as far as their performances went this year. Evan Wright again says Yoshi hyphen Hashi and the butterfly lock respect. No. I wouldn't even tap out of the butterfly lock. Not even me. I would not. I would stay in there and I'd be like, is this, are you, that's what I'd say. Butterfly lock. Oh, yeah. J.K. Schwal says, refer to him by his proper name, Yoshi hyphen Hashi. We should call him like that moving forward. I agree. Make him more unbearable to pronounce. I'm okay with that. Acer 5000, hello, welcome to the chat. Now, night 5. Night 5 is where things start to get cooking because this was the first night of round 2. And we got some stellar stuff on night 5. If you're thinking of getting into New Japan and you want your first full card experience, you jump into night 5 of the New Japan Cup and you're going to get a little something of everything and it's going to be all good to fantastic. Taiji Ishimori defeated Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Ishimori, my main takeaway of this match is that Ishimori outed the best way to defend against the application of a figure 4 leg lock, and that is to just hold the leg, the final leg, when the leg comes over to cross over the leg that's locking in the opponent's leg, Just hold it. Hold it right there. Don't let him bring it down. And I'm like, all these years, I had never thought of that. You just hold the leg before it comes down to apply the pressure. Just hold it there. He did that. I love Ishimori. He's one of my favorite juniors. I think he looks like $1 million. He's convincing as an athletic guy, a high flyer, and a strong power-based guy because he's cut, he's built. There's not an ounce of fat on that guy. I love the guy, and I hope. Look, he's getting a match against Kazuchika Okada on the next round. It's his audition. This is it. Taiji, you have to show the world here. That's what you're going up to. You're up against Okada. I mean, that's a reward in and about itself. Super excited for that in the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals? Yeah, quarterfinals. Tomohiro MVP Ishii defeated Togi Makabe in a goddamn slapper of a match. And I did not expect it to be that good because I'm like, Togi is a little over the hill. But Jesus Christ, he brought it. All the dads have been bringing it. Makabe moving forward was the call to do because he was against a young lion. And up against Ishii, my God, they didn't hold back. It was such a strong match. Makabe hit a goddamn spider German suplex. And then later on, Tommy Ishii did a stalling vertical suplex from the second rope, holding Makabe up there, and Makabe just ate it. Jesus, it was good. Jesus, it was good. I want you guys to enjoy this one. Now, I like it because Makabe as well, former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, deserves to be in these types of matches. Tommy Ishii, he's the MVP of every tournament that he's put in. Every single time he pulls out an extraordinary match. Look at this again. Look at this again, folks. Christ, it was good. It was so good. And he moves forward, so we're going to get Ishii in the semifinals against the winner of this next match. And it's Hiromu Takahashi defeated Toru Yano in a comedy match. But a comedy match, and I want you to mark my words, folks, once December 2020 rolls around and we start talking about, I want you to write this down. I want you to make a note of it. When we start talking about matches of the year, if your boy Warren hasn't put Hiromu Takahashi versus Toru Yano, June 2020, there's something very serious that happened. Something grave. Or maybe I just forgot. Maybe the Alzheimer's kicked in. This was so much fun. It was an entertaining match from top to bottom. The story here was that Yano wanted to cut Takahashi's hair. He wanted to cut Hiromu's hair, and he comes in with clippers, and Hiromu comes out with a hard hat, and he wants to wrestle with the hard hat because he doesn't want his beautiful locks to be clipped away. And it turns out that Yano has another pair of clippers in his shorts, and they fight into the arena, into the empty arena, and clearly Toru Yano has put scissors everywhere because he's got scissors lying around everywhere. They even fight into the backstage area, which never happens in New Japan. And the match ends when, Jesus Christ, and it's so wild to just say it like this, but Toru Yano got Tsuji, one of the young lions, beat him down and taped Hiromu's leg to Tsuji's leg. So they're like in a three-legged race to try and beat him. But Hiromu starts dragging Tsuji around and beats up Toru backstage, pushes him into an elevator, sends him down to the first floor. They're like on the 5th floor, so sends him down back to the first floor or wherever, or the basement, and he hits the ring, and Toru Yano gets counted out while Takahashi struggles to bring Sushi, that his three-legged partner, to the ring to beat the 20 count. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I loved it. And this is comedy done right. This is comedy done right. This is not ninjas arriving on motorcycles to just serve no purpose. Everything here served a purpose. It told the story. It was hilarious. It was stupid. I loved it. I loved it. And finally, we got Kazuchika Okada defeating Yuji Nagata in again, Jesus Christ. Yuji Nagata brought it. Nagata was amazing. And I honestly didn't think he had it in him, but he had a hell of a performance. By God, his kicks. I was looking at Nagata and I'm like, you know what? This is how Daniel Bryan is going to fight in his 50s. This is exactly how Daniel Bryan is going to fight. Because Nagata kicks and uses submissions. That's what he does. And his kicks, Christ, they're strong. And they can cave your chest in. Like that. He's so good at what he does. He hits an avalanche superplex on Okada at some point, slaps the shit out of him, drops him on his head. But Okada manages to win, and Okada manages to win again with the Cobra Clutch. So what this match does, because he beat fucking Gato with the Cobra Clutch. You should be able to beat Gato with the butterfly lock. You know what I'm saying? So he beats Gato in the first round of the Cup with the Cobra Clutch. Now he beats Nagata, big time Nagata, with the Cobra Clutch. That, friends and family, puts that move over big time. That's a big time move right there. I'm really excited to see how this goes, and I'm really excited to see if they do anything more with Nagata moving forward, because I want more of this guy. I knew he was good, but it had been a while since he had been in something so compelling. This was such a good match. Credible finish for Okada. So in the semifinals here, we're getting Ishimori versus Okada, which is so great for an Ishimori match mark like I am. And Ishii versus Takahashi. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. It's such good stuff. Oh shit, I forgot to put up the graphic the whole time. There we go. So next week we're getting more matches. I love New Japan so goddamn much. Makes me happy. You guys make me happy. And that wraps up the weekly wrestling inspection. Oh, I just took a lot of water. I was really thirsty. Evan Wright left us a super chat, says Yano did to Hiromu what he did to Mox and Shota Umino. Yeah, but on a whole other level. It was very, very different. And Anakin JMT left a super chat, and we're going to wrap it up on this one, folks. PW Insider just reported Impact released Tessa and stripped her of her title. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. It just sucks. And Tessa is the architect of her own demise in this situation. She had been allegedly stuck in Mexico, which is why she, because of COVID, because of the borders being shut down, couldn't make it to Impact, but apparently she was not being very communicative. You know, Tessa is her father's daughter. Tully was no saint. right? Tully was no saint. This is well documented. And the apple didn't fall far from the tree. It's a shame. And I hope, we'll see how things develop moving forward. But Tessa brought a lot of this on herself, folks. I'm not sure I'm surprised. Not sure I'm surprised. And there's one more super chat from Anakin again. It says, if Goldberg had a submission move, it'd be the butterfly lock, and he would manage to fuck it up. There we go. Critical Sting. I didn't have a chance to say hello. Welcome to the chat. And also, thank you for coming. Everyone who joined me this evening. If you like what you saw and you're still here, give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Leave Yoshi-Hashi in the comments of the YouTube video. Not in the chat. In the comments. If you made it to the very end here. Let's be an exclusive club of people who made it to the very end and show their Yoshi-Hashi pride with style. I don't know. Hey, I'm heading over to Patreon right now. Patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes. We're going to talk about, I wanted to talk about COVID on the main show, but I went off on stuff. What can I tell you? That's how I roll. So if you want to hear me talk about some COVID stuff, head on over there. Patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes. It's going to start in just a couple of minutes. Otherwise, yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming out again this evening. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you next time. How about that?